KFWB Dodger Talk, sponsored by the new AT&T. Dial pound 980 from your AT&T phone to talk with Bob Harvey. And by CarMax, the way car buying should be.
Good evening and welcome to Dodger Talk on KFWB News 980. I'm Bob Harvey, and first of all, thank you for joining us on this Thursday night. A less than pleasant one, I'm sure, for many Dodger fans. Another loss in Colorado that didn't bounce the Dodgers mathematically from playoff consideration, but pushes them real close. The Dodgers losing today to the Rockies 9-4 as Colorado sweeps the four-game series. 9-14-0 for Colorado, 4-7-0 for the Dodgers. Jimenez got the win, Derek Lowe the loss, and the Dodgers now 79-74 with 9 games left to go. And for all intents and purposes, it is wait until next year. But that isn't the big story. Big story came out of the Dodgers clubhouse afterwards, and the man who was there and who is chatting with Jeff Kent joins us from Arizona, KFWB's A. Martinez. And, A, first of all, we're going to play some of the clips, but were you surprised or were you stunned or at least surprised?
No, because it's something that has been maybe bubbling, and then now boiling with this week and the way it's gone with the Dodgers losing all 4 to the Rockies. So I wasn't surprised that the comments were necessarily made or that they were finally put out there, but at the same time, once it does finally get out there on tape and people write it down and then people have a chance to analyze it, then you wonder, wow, it's really finally out for everyone to hear. There's always speculation. A reporter says something and it's always like, well, how do you know? And then someone actually puts it out there and validates it. All
right, let's play our first cut with Jeff Kent. We'll have A. Martinez analyze it since he was there. Jeff Kent not happy with 9 games left to go in the season.
We're in a bad spot right now. Our elimination time is 3 games, elimination games. Is that right? Am I right there? We're not in a good spot right now. So pretty soon we're going to give up the ghost, and it's going to be painful.
All right. Hey, your take on that comment.
Well, he's absolutely right. He's very frustrated. See, Jeff Kent hasn't won a World Series. That's the only reason that he's playing baseball, to win a championship, to be remembered as a champion. He's done just about everything else. He's arguably one of the greatest second basemen of all time. He's arguably one of the greatest intense competitors of our day when you think about Major League Baseball players. He's a veteran who's been around, who's won an MVP, who statistically has piled up things that are going to get him to Cooperstown. There is no doubt about that. But the one thing he doesn't have is a World Series championship. And also the other thing he doesn't have is time. He knows that he's about done with his career. He maybe has 1 year left. Now, today with the at-bats that he had, vested the option for next year. It's his call whether he's coming back for 2008. And he's got to analyze and see exactly where the Dodgers stand moving forward to see if he wants to be a part of it and to see if they actually have a chance. So that's why he's frustrated, because he knows at most he probably has 1 chance left to win a World Series.
All right, now before we play the next cut, I want to ask you, is it fair for Jeff Kent to be as down as he is on the young players?
You know what? Sure, why not? This is a guy who has an incredible amount of knowledge and experience. He's been through it all. He's done just about everything possible in this game. And what's wrong with a veteran trying to tell kids and to tell them how exactly the game should be played? He has a certain belief about the way the game needs to be respected, the way the game needs to be played. And if he sees something that he doesn't like, I think he's earned the right in any clubhouse to say what he feels and to try and correct it and to try and make the new generation understand the value of being a Major League Baseball player and what it means.
All right, now Jeff Kent apparently wasn't a fan of one certain player getting playing time in crunch time. I can only assume that he was referring to Andy LaRoche getting the start in Game 1 of the doubleheader, a game in which LaRoche struck out 3 times. Would I be correct in assuming that?
Well, no, not in this case.
Okay.
When I brought up the player that I finally just tipped the scales for me, it was not Jeff Kent. I just want to throw that out there just to make sure that anyone doesn't confuse the two. What Jeff Kent said today was totally based on the reality of the situation of losing 4 straight to the Rockies and the position they put themselves in. And it was more of a general comment on the youngsters as opposed to just one in particular. That was a completely different situation. And I still can't reveal who did it and the other players that I've talked to over the last few months that have expressed frustration because they've trusted me. So I'm not exactly going to, number one, burn them, and number two, I want them to keep talking to me if they feel comfortable with it.
All right, professional way to go. All right, Jeff Kent, apparently not a fan of certain youngsters getting playing time in crunch time.
I think experience can help more than inexperience. And I've been there with some experienced teams. Hell, I was with one of the greatest comebacks ever with the Houston Astros just a couple years ago. And I thought last year we did a great job too. But I think of anything, the experience can pull you through more than the inexperience. And it's hard to give a young kid experience instantly. It's hard to do that.
All right, now, is this not only an indictment of the youth movement of the Dodgers, but maybe an indictment of Ned Colletti?
It's a double-edged sword. See, Ned, I don't put any of the blame on this on Ned. He's trying to put the most talented team possible out there on the field for Grady Little. Now, how do you predict or project that maybe a youngster who's having success all of a sudden feels like he's too cool for school? How do you predict that? You don't. You just hope that they mesh. Sometimes youth movements and veterans don't mesh, and apparently it hasn't in this case. Now, you got to also understand, too, these kids that the Dodgers are counting on for the future have played together since they were 16, 17 years old, signing a pro contract together. They've been together a long time. It's a bond. It's a brotherhood that they have, because not only have they played together, but they've also won together and had a lot of success together, and it's been very, very quick, the success. So, when you're a young guy and all of a sudden you're making a lot of money, you think that you're unbeatable, that no one can touch you, that there is no mortality, that all these things are going to happen for the rest of your life every single day. And that's what I think Jeff Kent is trying to, or has been trying to impart on these kids, that, hey, it's not an eternal well here. It can maybe never happen for you. He's only been to a World Series once, didn't get a chance to win it, and might never win it again. So I think the frustration there, and that's my dime store psychiatry degree talking here, is that I think what he wants to tell these guys is that every moment needs to be cherished. You need to go and make sure that you take advantage of every single moment possible. And I think the attitude for a lot of the youngsters right now is that, hey, we've got the rest of our lives. Maybe you don't, but we do. All
right. He's A. Martinez. I'm Bob Harvey. This is our delayed Dodger Talk on Thursday night. Not tape delayed, just delayed a few hours after the end of the game. 866-933-9898 is our number. And, of course, I'd like to get your reaction, your response to Jeff Kent today. Not going ballistic, but just in a very quiet way expressing his frustration. Now, Jeff Kent, on how some of the rookies just don't get it.
I'm running out of time. A lot of kids in here don't really understand that. I've played a long time, and I've played on some really good teams, and I've only been in the World Series once. So you hate to waste an opportunity, even if it's one and even if it's your first time. It's hard to get them to understand that because they haven't been there. So there lies some frustrations.
All right, so do we take that as Jeff Kent insinuating, and of course I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but you've been with him all year. Did he think this was a team capable of getting to the World Series?
Oh, of course. He made it very clear as well that the media pretty much puts the expectations on clubs. Clubs feel that they're pretty good, and but they understand there's a lot of things that can happen. Injuries. We've seen it with Jason Schmidt, with Randy Wolf, with various other players. And other factors. Sometimes you go through a stretch where you're not effective and other teams take advantage and surpass you in the standings. Guess what? Maybe you don't get that opportunity to be in first place anymore. So I think with a lot of those comments, I think he just was thinking like what I just said about how a lot of times when you're young, you think you have the rest of your life to do all the things that maybe your parents didn't get a chance to do. And for Jeff Kent, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a guy who has gone through it all, and he's just trying to show these people, these kids, that, hey, look, take my experience that I've accomplished over 18 years of playing Major League Baseball and try and learn from it. But you know what? In this day and age, a lot of times it's tough for parents to tell that to kids and have them understand. It's very reflective of society right now, and the way an older generation tries to relate and tries to teach their experiences to a younger generation.
All right, we're going to play the final cut from Jeff Kent. This is Jeff Kent on some of the younger players just not pulling their weight this year.
We've got some good kids on this team. Don't get me wrong now. Please don't misinterpret my impressions of these kids. We've got some good kids, but it's hard to translate experience, and I don't know why they don't get it.
All right, there you go. Your final comment to that.
Look, and he truly means it when he says that they are good kids, but that's it. They are kids, and the maturity sometimes isn't there. Now, a lot of times you hope that maturity happens at some point before it's too late, and right now the season basically has slipped away. It is too late. Unless some miraculous thing happens where Arizona, San Diego, and Philadelphia all fall apart and the Dodgers win each and every single game, time has expired. And that's all he's trying to say is that, look, opportunities don't happen. The window stays open for a very short amount of time, and that has to be taken advantage of immediately and not thinking about, hey, maybe it'll be open some other time. Don't worry about it. There has to be a sense of urgency, and that maybe was lost somewhere this season.
Yeah, I believe any chances realistically the Dodgers had of getting it as a wild card or as a division winner probably evaporated during this 4-game sweep in Colorado. Hey, great job, and I might point out too, great job in the interview with Jeff Kent. We appreciate it, and get some rest, and we'll talk with you tomorrow on covering the bases right before the start of the Arizona series, the Dodgers' final series on the road before they return home for 6 with the Rockies, look out, and the Giants. KFWB News Time, 8:11. That is time for traffic on the ones, and a good evening to Richard Turnage.
Thank you very much, Bob. Good evening to you, and a SIG alert to tell you about on the 57 freeway, updating that situation. Southbound side of the 57 near Yorba Linda Boulevard, where a crash occurred. Carpool and left lanes blocked for quite a while. We're just getting word now that they're clearing that from the road. Traffic, however, continues to run behind schedule. It's slow from Imperial Highway. And the northbound side, still a little bit of a slowdown from the 91 freeway. But again, repeating the good news, all traffic lanes have been reopened there. 118 westbound near Reseda Boulevard, a crash. Carpool and left lanes blocked initially. They're just now pulling that off the road. Traffic still a little bit slow, though, on the westbound 118 in the valley. Also, 110 northbound near Vernon Avenue, a crash. Middle traffic lane blocked. That's going to slow you approaching downtown. And on the Santa Monica Freeway, a trouble spot. It's on a connector 10 east to the 110 northbound. 2 cars in that crash. Right side of the freeway affected right at the start of the transition road. Be careful. Next, KFWB traffic on the ones at 8:21. I'm Richard Turnage, KFWB News 980.
The series between the Rockies and Dodgers is sponsored by the Cadillac Escalade. Outstanding cabin quietness and Bose calibration set the stage for an extraordinary multimedia experience. Visit Cadillac.com or your Southern California Cadillac dealer today.
Last season's #1 new comedy is back.
Hooray!
Rules of Engagement. Season premiere, CBS Monday, after 2.5 Men.
With the football season underway, you know you want a big screen HD TV for all the action. Where are you going to get it? Eric Tracy for the experts at Ken Crane's Big Screen Headquarters. And something else this month, it's Ken Crane's at the LA County Fair. Visit the Ken Crane's Pavilion and enter to win an all-day VIP fair package that includes great seats at the closing night concert. Also check out the biggest plasma on the planet, Panasonic's 103-inch plasma at the fair this month. You know you want a big screen. Where are you going to get it? From Ken Crane's Big Screen Headquarters and at the Ken Crane's Pavilion at the LA County Fair.
Who knows where you can get a great deal on a new Chevrolet? At Sierra Chevrolet in Monrovia, the Panda knows. And right now, the Panda is telling everyone about Sierra Chevy's deal on a 2007 Tahoe LS at a sale price of $38,888. And after a $5,000 total factory rebate, net cost to you of $25,888. That's a net cost of $25,888. And now that you've heard from the Panda, it's time to make your move to Sierra Chevrolet of Monrovia. Just take the Mountain Avenue exit of the 210 freeway in Monrovia at the Giant Panda. Who knows where you can get a great deal on a new Chevrolet? At Sierra Chevrolet in Monrovia, the Panda knows. Chevrolet, an American revolution. Rebate in lieu of special GMAC financing. All prices plus government fees and taxes. Any finance charges, any dealer document preparation charge, and any emission testing charge. Subject to prior sale. 1 if this net cost. 268,305. Expires 10/107.
If you want LASIK but we're concerned about risks, come and see Dr. Alexander Shabil right now. Dr. Shabil has removed the #1 risk of LASIK, the creation of the corneal flap. This means that there is no cutting of your eye with a laser, no cutting with a blade, no cutting period. So you could get better night vision with less chance of dry eyes. Many of Dr. Shabil's patients see even better than 20/20. Call Dr. Alexander Shabil today at 800-841-3717. You will be in the great hands of Dr. Shabil, who has been voted Best of Orange County and has been featured on national television. This week, Dr. Shabil is offering a custom wave print analysis of your eyes for free. This exam is a value of $250, and right now, to the first 20 callers, you will receive this exam for free. Dr. Shabil has made LASIK affordable with zero interest and payments as low as $89 per month on approved credit. Call Dr. Alexander Shabil today at 800-841-3717. That's 800-841-3717. Or schedule your visit online at LALASIK.com. That's LALASIK.com.
KFWB Dodger Talk, sponsored by the new AT&T and by Hooters Hotel Las Vegas. Sleep with someone you know. Book your room online or call 866-LV-HOOTS. Nissan of downtown L.A., where the customer is always number one.
It was the longest three days and 4 games I've ever been through, to tell you the truth, and it was miserable right to the very last pitch.
Manager Grady Little on the 4-game sweep at the hands of the Colorado Rockies. Good evening. Welcome back to Dodger Talk on KFWB News 980. I'm Bob Harvey, 866-933-9898. I will credit Grady for being a stand-up guy, and he said that the better team won this week.
They're hot. You know, this 4-game series showed that we were beaten by a better team than we were.
All right. And as a result, the Rockies have now moved 2 games ahead of the Dodgers into third place in the NL West, and, of course, 2 games ahead of the Dodgers in the wild card chase. Back to the phones we go. I guess actually first time to the phones tonight. And let's start out with Danny in Lawndale. Danny, welcome to Dodger Talk on KFWB.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Danny, how about yourself?
Well, this season's pretty much over. Like all the callers have been saying, get rid of Grady and start over with the new coach. I want to ask you a question about next season.
Okay.
Who can the Dodgers? I mean, I think being the A-Rod's agent is Scott Boras, and I'm sure he will opt out of his contract. Can the Dodgers actually pursue this guy? Can they make a strong and pursue this guy?
My guess is the Dodgers will pursue him regardless of who the agent is. And if you think about it, Scott Boras actually did the Dodgers a favor this year when he and J.D. Drew, got together on that plan to get out of town and make a little extra money. And now J.D. Drew is dreading life in Boston. I think he's hit 8 or 9 home runs there. But, absolutely. I don't see any reason why Frank McCourt and Ed Colletti wouldn't go after A-Rod. Just a matter of if A-Rod is going to want to stay in the Bronx or if he's going to want to come to the West Coast. But those would be the only locations I could see him playing, maybe Chicago, but no more certainly than those 3.
I think he's going to try to test the water, opt out of his contract, and I think they have to extremely pursue this guy. I mean, the lineup of this year was a joke. And I know we have young players and, Loney and Russell, and they're good. But we need to surround them with proven all-stars and not Gonzalez and Garciaparra. Sometimes I feel like this is Kansas City Royals or Tampa Bay Devil. This is L.A. Dodgers. We need to have a lineup like Boston and New York. Or even the Angels have Vladimir Guerrero. Why can't we have a player of that caliber? Just one player of that caliber.
Right,
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
And real quick, Bob.
Sure.
Last night, I think it was Jeff Fontazana called, and he said all Dodgers fans were myopic. Well, I think the Dodgers fans don't get enough credit. They are loyal and passionate fans here in L.A.
No doubt.
And for this guy to call and brag about the Cleveland Indians, the Cleveland Indians, are you serious? I know they're having a good year and all, but the last time I saw Cleveland win something was in that movie Major League.
Yeah.
Who can forget Charlie Sheen coming out of the bullpen or Wesley Snipes stealing home?
Right.
Next time this guy calls, tell him to pull out the history books and to check the history records and see who really is the big daddy of them all.
Well, you know what? Well, next time he calls, I'll tell him, hey, why don't you just go down to the video store and rent Major Leagues and leave Dodger Talk to us, right?
And even in that movie, they still lost.
You're right. Hey, Danny, great call. Thanks for joining us. And maybe there's a miracle around the corner. If not, certainly going to be a lot of interesting changes next year. But I do appreciate the call. Have a good one. Alex, next up from Van Nuys, or do we want to hold on to Alex? Yeah, let's take Alex now. Well, what do you think, boss? Here we are with 9 games left to play and time running out.
Well, you polled everybody, about a month or so ago, and I said if they didn't make it, it would be because of Grady. And, you said something last night, 140 different lineups and 152 games. That kind of says it all. The guy doesn't know whether to fish or cut bait, man. He can't get a consistent lineup. Who knows? Like for the beginning of the season, Bob, James Loney should have been out there. Chad Billingsley should have been a starting pitcher. Matt Kemp and Ethier. And for all these people that rave about Kevin Kennedy because he's such a great second guesser after the games, like all of us, I mean, he didn't light up the baseball world when he was a manager. And he said last night that he said the lineup last night was their best lineup, and Andre Ethier was not in that lineup. So if Kennedy's a manager, Ethier ain't playing either. You know.
Well, and you know what? You made a great point, and no knock on Kevin Kennedy, but well, let me finish my thought. No knock on Kevin Kennedy personally, but there's a reason that he hasn't had a managing job in 10 years.
He wasn't successful, and he didn't like I said, he didn't light up the baseball world when he was a manager. And about Jeff Kent, if you had Hanley Ramirez at short and David Wright at third, he would still complain. He's just a cranky old guy. When Maury Wills was at the end of his career, and he was a great shortstop, had a great career, and Bill Russell came up, he never gave Bill Russell the time of day because he was afraid of his job and he didn't want to lose it to a kid.
Right.
And that's how Jeff Kent is. He had a great career, and I told you, I had heard breaking news 3 weeks ago, there was dissension in the clubhouse. It ain't like Disneyland. It ain't the happiest place on earth.
Well, you proved to be right.
And I told you that there was dissension in the clubhouse, and put that on Grady Little. No. You know, if LaRoche would have been playing for all the season, for half the season, and then you put him in that first game, he should have never started against Jeff Francis in that game. And he come up the third time, he was overmatched. And why didn't Grady do this? Why didn't he start David Wells opposite Francis and Chad Billingsley, who was their hottest pitcher, against Redmond in the nightcap?
These are questions that Grady has not answered, and I don't know if we'll hear the answer before the end of the season. But you make a great point about LaRoche, and doesn't that go back to not having a consistent lineup from trying to, well, maybe he'll work here. I got a hunch this guy will hit pretty well. Isn't that really the issue here, that there's just the inconsistency in the lineup? KFWB News Time. 8:21, time for traffic on the ones. Here's Richard Turnage.
In Culver City, 405 northbound near Jefferson Boulevard, a crash. 2 cars in that fender bender over to the right shoulder. Traffic is slow approaching. Stay slow to about Sunset Boulevard as you head toward the Sepulveda Pass. Thanks to Michael, who checked in on the phone force line. And he's telling us about a vehicle fire situation, a pickup truck that caught fire, 605 northbound near Peck Road. It's on the right shoulder. Watch for this activity, a little bit of a slowdown on the freeway. 405 northbound at Brookhurst Street, a crash. 2 cars in that accident, right shoulder there. Traffic is jammed from Fairview, also in the OC. 5 southbound just before the 133 freeway. Injury collision, the right shoulder where they're tending to that. And 57 southbound at Yorba Linda Boulevard, a crash is cleared. But carpool and 2 left lanes blocked for a long time, so still a little bit of a traffic jam there, a little bit of a log jam. KFWB Traffic is sponsored by Nick Alexander Imports. Nick Alexander Imports would like to remind you that big things come in small packages. Take the Mini, for example. Big performance, big value, and a big smile when you drive yours home. Call 800-800-NICK, and remember, Nick can't say no. Next, KFWB Traffic on the ones at 8:31. I'm Richard Turnage, KFWB News 980.
Feel like a rock star with LasVegasTickets.com. Best seat to any event, championship boxing, or the greatest shows, LasVegasTickets.com has you covered. LasVegasTickets.com. They always come through in the clutch. Back to school time, and in honor of all you moms and dads who make it happen, Downtown LA Motors is offering some low prices on all Mercedes models. Too low to mention on air. All 2007 cars must go. Downtown LA Motors is one of a select few Mercedes dealerships nationwide to sell over 57,000 brand new Mercedes since their opening, and is on a new journey to sell over 60,000 new Mercedes-Benz in 07. And right now, for a low price, you will be able to get your family into a new Mercedes-Benz from Downtown LA Motors. You think you can't afford it? Think again. You can't afford not to come to Downtown LA Motors with great prices and lease programs on all models. And check out the all-new C-Class 2008 model at Downtown LA Motors. No long negotiation process. Just give Downtown LA Motors 22 minutes and they promise to put you into a brand new Mercedes. Whatever you do, before you buy or lease a new Mercedes, give Downtown LA Motors that last chance to save you more. Located right by Staples Center downtown and near every major freeway in Southern California. Call Downtown LA Motors today at 888-I-LOVE-LA. That's 888-I-LOVE-LA.
Do you have an adjustable rate mortgage? Do you feel like you've risked your home to unscrupulous lenders who never told you that arm meant an arm and a leg? Then they set you up with a bad loan and charge you points and closing costs to do it. I'm Wesley Hoagland, president of Lennox Financial. If you didn't option arm in the last few years, don't sit around and watch your mortgage balance go up while your home value goes down. Don't wait until it's too late to refinance. Call Lennox Financial at 888-945-4105. Guidelines are getting more restrictive and home values are going down. Our 30-year fixed rates are lower than they've been since 2006, and we can make you a loan at a lower rate right now. And we'll do it in a couple weeks, not months, with no hassles, no points, no closing costs. You can't lose on this one. If rates go down, we'll refinance it again with no closing costs. Pick up your phone today and call us at 888-945-4105 or visit us online at LenoxHomeloans.com. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. That's 888-945-4105.
Not all loans apply. Licensed by Department of Corporations, Equal Housing Lender.
CarMax used cars are better than the average used car. How do we know? Our 125-point inspection. Every CarMax car gets one by our technicians. So you get a vehicle with brakes and tires you can rely on. Electrical systems that function properly. And an engine, fuel system, and drivetrain you can count on. Why do we sweat the details? For your peace of mind. Come to CarMax today.
Visit our new store, now open in Torrance. CarMax, the way car buying should be.
Is this Horse Max?
Yes, sir.
Well, I need to sell my horse.
You know, at Horse Max, we'll buy your horse whether you buy ours or not.
Well, her shoes are a bit rusty, if you know what I mean.
Don't matter what shape she's in. We'll make you an offer.
Well, hot dang. What an easy way to sell a horse.
CarMax. It's amazing no one's thought of this before.
We also sell new Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge vehicles at our LAX store. CarMax, the way car buying should be.
KFWB Dodger Talk is sponsored by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. The LA County Sheriffs are hiring. Call 1-800-A-DEPUTY or visit LASD.org. Jiffy Lube, the well-oiled machine, and by your Southern California Cadillac dealer.
Welcome back to Dodger Talk on KFWB News 980. I'm Bob Harvey. Frustration, the key word today. During the game and especially after the game in the Dodger clubhouse, Dodgers fall to the Rockies again. Today's final 9-4, 9-14-0 for the Dodgers, 4-7-0 for the Rockies. Jimenez over Lowe. And then after the game, Derek Lowe admitted, he said, I just can't pitch at Coors Field.
People always say ground ball guy have success, but it seems like I really haven't had a lot of success here. So, there's really no, today it was just bad.
Just bad. For D. Lowe, he worked 3 innings, allowed 8 hits, 6 earned runs, walked 5, struck out 5, and gave up a home run. It seemed like every time I looked in this series, a Rocky was hitting a home run, and it usually was Matt Holliday, who, hit another home run today in the second inning off Derek Lowe. That gives Holliday 36. Tulowitzki also had a home run late in the game off Jonathan Malone. Just a bad 4-game stretch, and the Dodgers have just about played themselves out of contention in both the wild card and the National League West, and certainly looking at huge deficits in both races. All right, let's get back to the phone. I know one thing I wanted to say, too, before we take another call. When Jeff Kent talks about the youngsters, and they're not experienced. They haven't been through it. I've always been just kind of curious. When you're a young man and you go apply for a job and they say, well, we're not qualified, or you're not qualified because you just don't have enough experience. Well, how do you get experience if you don't play? How do you get experience if you aren't out on the field to experience the highs and lows? Now, if these guys, the youngsters, if they are disrespectful of the veterans, if they are not paying attention to the veterans, trying to pick up anything, well, that's probably not a smart thing to do, and not a good way to enhance your future major league skills. But if the young guys are busting it and playing hard, don't have a problem with them, if you will, learning on the job. I'd just be very interested to know if Jeff Kent had any particular players in mind. But later in the interview, he was asked, is it Grady? Is it the youngsters? He said, it's everything. So we'll just leave it at that. John from Tahunga joins us next. John, welcome to Dodger Talk on KFWB.
Thanks, Bob. I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate the show, and I heard what happened on Sunday, and I emailed Andy Ludlam earlier this week, and I just let him know how much I appreciate his support of you and Dodger Talk, and as an asset to Dodger Town.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks, John.
So as for me, walking through the streets carrying the corpse of a promising 2007 Dodger season, and I'm about to lay it at the feet of Dodger management.
Mm-hmm.
I've been so disappointed all year by Grady Little. Today, Steve Dilbeck in the Daily News kind of poked and prodded at Grady Little, but he didn't make a difference. You know, Grady has made poor decisions all season long. I mean, you heard it, 140 different lineups. And it's not just him. We're dealing with management that is too proud to admit that they picked a manager that doesn't work out, too proud to admit that they picked the wrong first baseman to start all year. And they expect us to continue to pay higher prices at the stadium with these stadium improvements that they call them, and not giving us a turn on our product. I mean, you can't say that Dodger fans are not loyal fans. We fill that stadium every year.
And John, what frustrates me is, and I promise I'm not going to rehash this or bring it up, but the fact that they can find the time to call a radio host and constantly be on my butt about not pushing back with callers when the callers are absolutely right. That kind of boggles my mind, because it seems like that front office would have a lot more pressing issues, like just what happened in Colorado.
Well, you know what the pressing issues seem to be is what color are the seats going to be in the new stadium clubs. That's what it seems to me. When, you've got a great team out there. I mean, I can understand Jeff Kent's frustration, but he's got great kids around him. I mean, Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, James Loney, they're the Matt Hollidays. They're the Corey Sullivans of next year, the next 2-3 years.
Right.
They're going to be the guys really doing the damage around here, and you've got a manager who doesn't know how to manage young and old players together.
Right, and this was a bad mix, and I don't know, Dan, if you have listened to the show all season long, but I made the comment that early on, and I got to run, but let me thank you for two things: for a great call and also for sending that email to Andy. I do appreciate it, and call us again before the season's over. All right?
My pleasure, Bob.
All right, thank you, John. I made the comment earlier this season that it just wasn't the right. I didn't think it was the right mix. You either had guys that were well past their prime, or you had some guys that maybe weren't ready for prime time. But you didn't have very many people in the middle, and I just don't think that kind of mix is going to work in Major League Baseball. If there's a team out there that is built that way that I overlooked, let me know. 866-933-9898. KFWB News Time. 8:31, time for traffic on the ones and then some. Here's Richard Turnage.
On the 5 freeway, southbound before the 133 freeway in Orange County, a crash, 2 cars in that accident. Right shoulder where they're tending to that. It looks like paramedics have left, but they're still calling for some tow trucks. So southbound 5 is very slow as you approach the 133 freeway. And then also on the 5 south at Lake Forest Drive, just up ahead, a stall a little bit earlier on the right side. So that is really making for a jam there, making for a log jam back toward the El Toro Y on that southbound Santa Ana freeway. 10 eastbound connected to the 110 northbound downtown. Accident with 2 cars right at the start of the transition road. The eastbound Santa Monica freeway, as a result, is extra slow back toward Fairfax. And on the 110 northbound at Vernon Avenue, a collision, second lane from the divider blocked. Slow going there, reported back toward Florence Avenue. Next, KFWB traffic on the ones at 8:41. I'm Richard Turnage, KFWB News 980.
KFWB News Time 8:33. Here are the top stories we're working on in the KFWB newsroom. The jury in the Phil Spector murder trial has recessed for the night. The panel deliberated less than an hour this afternoon after receiving new instructions in the case. The so-called pinpoint instruction concerns the prosecution's theory that Spector held a gun to actress Lana Clarkson's mouth and that the weapon discharged, causing her death. The embattled chancellor of UC Irvine has apologized for withdrawing an offer to make a liberal legal scholar the founding dean of the university's new law school. Erwin Chemerinsky says Chancellor Michael Drake told him the offer was being withdrawn because Chemerinsky was too politically controversial. Drake re-extended the offer on Monday after a private weekend meeting. Chemerinsky accepted. Senate Democrats are keeping up the rhetoric against the Iraq war. They charged ahead today with legislation ordering troops home from Iraq. The measure lost, but the Democrats say it shows that Republicans want the war. Thousands of demonstrators showed up in Gina, Louisiana today to protest what they see as a double standard of prosecution for blacks and whites. The flashpoint of the protest are the so-called Jena 6, 5 of whom were initially charged with attempted murder and the beating of a white classmate. More Dodger Talk with Bob Harvey coming up. I'm Phil Hewlett, KFWB News 980.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Man, if I had a nickel for every time I said that. See, I called one of those national alarm companies to help protect my business. They gave me the business, all right. Missed appointments, unreturned phone calls. So I called Bay Alarm, and within 72 hours, they were installing my alarm system, CCTV, and fire protection. Plus, I got a 90-day money-back guarantee. So avoid shoulda, coulda, woulda. Call Bay Alarm.
Call 1-800-610-1000 or visit bayalarm.com. Because when it comes to your business, what have you got to lose?
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. It was my mantra after calling a national alarm company to help protect my jewelry store. Ugh, the attitude. It was like a company full of bad boyfriends. So I dumped them and called Bay Alarm. Within 72 hours, they were installing my alarm system, CCTV, and fire protection. Plus, I got a 90-day money-back guarantee. So avoid shoulda, coulda, woulda. Call Bay Alarm.
Call 1-800-610-1000 or visit bayalarm.com. Because when it comes to your business, what have you got to lose?
Reason number 9 to switch to Geico. There's nothing sweeter than saving money on car insurance. It's one of those rare opportunities in life where you can thumb your nose at the system and say, okay, system, listen up. I just got a better deal with Geico. Great savings, personal service 24/7, and the latest in online technology. Of course, the system may sulk for a day or two, but you're going to feel a lot better.
For a free rate quote, visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
If you could change the world, what would you do? How would you use your power? What human needs would you remedy? And while you may wonder about your ability to change the world, you certainly can change your world. The people of Citgo demonstrate this every day. For example, we've contributed over $82 million to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And we give in other ways to our local communities all across this country, which actually does change the world. Citgo, there at every turn.
KFWB Dodger Talk is sponsored by Power Toyota Cerritos. On the driver's side, Motel 6. For the lowest rate of any national chain, call 1-800-4-MOTEL-6. And Carino's Italian Grill. Visit Carinos.com for locations near you. Carinos, not your garden variety Italian.
Andy LaRoche, the batter. There's a fly ball to left field. Back goes Holiday. He looks up and it is gone. A home run for Andy LaRoche, who goes back-to-back with Andre Ethier. It is now a 7-4 Rocky lead.
For Andy LaRoche.
LaRoche's first Major League home run.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Andy LaRoche, 2 for 4 today. Back-to-back home runs from LaRoche and Andre Ethier and Charlie Steiner with the call on KFWB. Back to the phones we go, and we thank you again for joining us on Dodger Talk. Next up is Paul from the OC. Paul, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing all right, Bob. Good to talk to you one last time, I guess, before the season's over.
Well, we got 9 left. Maybe we can get you in again.
Well, we'll see about that. Hey, Bob, I listen to this show quite often, and a lot of guys call in and they talk about Grady Little, and obviously there's questionable decisions that Grady's made all year long, and a lot of guys call in and they hammer Ned Colletti. One caller in particular last night made it sound like this is not Major League Baseball, it's more fantasy baseball. We should be as he said, the Yankees of the West and just go buy all the players.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all good and well, but let's take a look at where we came from, Bob. 2 years ago, we were one of the worst teams in all of baseball. And in 1 year, under Ned Colletti and Grady Little, they turned the franchise around by 17 games, I believe it was, in one season. They brought in a bunch of kids and a bunch of patchwork veterans, and they rolled the dice. And, last year, everyone was singing Colletti's praises. Grady Little, there might be some questions, but hey, we're in the right direction. Now you move to this year. You go out, and it was, like I called you a few weeks back, and I made the same point. There were 2 arms on the market, Barry Zito and Jason Schmidt. Zito's been a disaster. Jason Schmidt's been injured. Pick your poison in that case. But Schmidt's gone all year. They tried a reclamation project with Randy Wolf. They've had a little bit of success in reclamation projects in recent years. You have Seeley, and there's a few other guys in the last couple years. Randy Wolf didn't work out. As a result, you had a disaster in Brett Tomko. You had a disaster in the rotation. He's been pretty good in the bullpen in Mark Hendrickson. And you had no more Garcia Paul. Let's talk about him for a second.
Sure.
This has been a reoccurring theme of late also. Grady should have known not to, to have, Loney at first base from the get-go. Yeah, but everyone in L.A. loved Nomar after last year. comeback player of the year, big home run against the Padres, 20 home runs. We knew we were lacking a little power. We were counting on Nomar. The dude's got 7 bombs. Now, when you figure in those injuries, the fact that Luis Gonzalez is what he is, he's a 278 hitter with 17 home runs. He may not have that many. You'd have to double check. But he's a mediocre ball player. And then you throw in the fact that the cards that Grady has had to deal with is a bunch of kids. You know, it's almost you have to almost tip your hat and say, here we are with a week and a half left, and the Dodgers are not eliminated yet. I mean, it hasn't been a disaster of a year. It's been a very frustrating year. And before I let you go, or before I take your comments, whatever, it's very similar. The greatest Dodger team that we've had in probably the last 2 generations was that 1981 team. And it took a number of years for a core group of young kids to work their way through. I mean, that group of kids, Garvey and Say and Lopes and Russell, the like, I mean, those guys were up in the early 70s, Bob. Mm-hmm. And, they had a hard time getting past the Big Red Machine. 77, they're in the World Series. 78, they're in the World Series. 1980, they got beat late. 1981, they didn't even have the best record in the league, but they win the whole thing. But it was a group of guys that worked together for about a decade, almost a decade, before it all came together. We have a very similar situation with a core group of kids. If we go out and we think we're going to go and buy a World Series, it's not too long ago in the past that the Dodgers went out and tried to do that. May I remind you of Darryl Strawberry, Eric Davis, Eddie Murray. I mean, Eddie Murray did a good job. I shouldn't throw him in there. But, I mean, they went out and Kevin Brown, they go out and they throw a lot of money at guys for a quick fix, and it hasn't proved to be the answer. And then the Yankees of the West, think about the Yankees for a second. They haven't won a World Series since 2000. Since 2000, they've gone out and tried to buy their World Championship, and it has not worked.
Paul, let me jump in here.
World Series, they were loaded with dudes that came up through the system. Jeter, Posada, Pettit. They brought in other guys, to fill in the holes, but it wasn't a bunch of superstars. Mariano Rivera was a setup man that came up through the system.
Paul, you're rolling, and I hate to cut you off because you're making a ton of great points here, but the Yankees have now decided, instead of going out and spending all that money on free agents, that they're going to try to build from within the farm system, and I think that's the way you're going to see a lot of teams go, and that's the way the Dodgers are going. Yes, they had to put in some patchwork this year, but it all depends regarding Grady Little, whether you see the Grady Little situation as like a glass of water, half empty or half full. And for most of the calls this year about Grady Little, it's darn near empty. KFWB News Time. 8:42, time again to get the latest on the freeways with Richard Turnage.
Well, the freeways are always full of cars, lots of hot traffic, or jam traffic, I should say. 110, the Harbor Freeway, northbound near Vernon Avenue, a collision. The second lane from the divider blocked and traffic really stacked up there. It's moving slowly from Florence as you head toward the downtown district. Also in Orange County, 5 southbound at Lake Forest Drive is stalled, taking up the third lane from the divider for quite a while. That's still making for a jam toward El Toro Road. Should be out of this shortly, but in the meantime, look for that slowdown. 405 northbound at Brookhurst Street, a collision, 2-car fender bender, right shoulder, a jam reported there back toward Fairview. On the 10 freeway eastbound connected to the 110 northbound, an accident that has cleared from the shoulder. Traffic, though, is still running behind schedule to Fairfax. And we're getting word of Caltrans work area that's being set up, 710 north between the 405 and the 91. 2 left lanes are going to be shut down till tomorrow morning. KFWB Traffic is sponsored by Nick Alexander Imports. And Nick Alexander Imports reminds you that big things come in small packages. Take, for example, the Mini. Big performance, big value, and a big smile when you drive yours home. So call 800-800-NICK, and remember, Nick can't say no. Next, KFWB Traffic on the ones at 8:51. I'm Richard Turnage, KFWB News 980.
If you want LASIK but we're concerned about risks, come and see Dr. Alexander Shabil right now. Dr. Shabil has removed the #1 risk of LASIK, the creation of the corneal flap. This means that there is no cutting of your eye with a laser, no cutting with a blade, no cutting, period. So you could get better night vision with less chance of dry eyes. Many of Dr. Shabil's patients see even even better than 2020. Call Dr. Alexander Shabil today at 800-841-3717. You will be in the great hands of Dr. Shabil, who has been voted Best of Orange County and has been featured on national television. This week, Dr. Shabil is offering a custom wave print analysis of your eyes for free. This exam is a value of $250, and right now, to the first 20 callers, you will receive this exam for free. Dr. Shabil has made LASIK affordable with zero interest and payments as low as $89 per month on approved credit. Call Dr. Alexander Shabil today at 800-841-3717. That's 800-841-3717. Or schedule your visit online at LALASIK.com. That's LALASIK.com.
Who knows where great deals on new Subarus are? At Sierra Subaru of Monrovia. The Panda knows. That's right. At Sierra Subaru, it's one Panda-sized deal after another. Like $1,500 customer cash on 2008 Subaru Forester 2.5X. Or $1,000 customer cash on 2008 Subaru Outback 2.5i models. Hurry in to see the all-new 2008 Impreza 5-door and the 2008 Subaru Tribeca with a more powerful engine, available 7-passenger seating, and standard all-wheel drive. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Who knows where there's one Panda-sized deal after another on new 2007 Subarus? At Sierra Subaru of Monrovia, the Panda knows. Exit the 210 freeway west of the 605 at the Giant Panda. Must take delivery from dealer stock by October 1st, 2007. Factory customer cash cannot be combined with any other incentives. Customer cash offer excludes Outback Sport models.
Sit and Sleep presents
You're Killing Me, Larry.
The quieter side of Sit and Sleep, where we talk about all the reasons to shop at Sit and Sleep besides low prices.
Besides low prices? Are you feeling all right, Larry?
I feel fine, Erwin. Everyone already knows that Sit and Sleep has the lowest prices and the largest selection anywhere. What they don't know are all the other things we do to make shopping for a mattress easy and less confusing.
I'm confused, Larry. You haven't screamed the word sale in over 10 seconds.
Did you know only Sit and Sleep offers the latest in sleep technology? It's called Body Diagnostics. All you do is lie down on a special mattress containing hundreds of sensors. Within seconds, a computer scientifically calculates your unique body profile and recommends just the right mattress for you. Ow! Why are you pinching me, Erwin?
To make sure you're the real Larry Miller and not an alien.
Ow, stop it. And remember, Sit and Sleep will beat anyone's advertised price.
Or your mattress is free.
KFWB Dodger Talk is sponsored by the new AT&T Tapatio Hot Sauce. Tap into the taste of Tapatio. StubHub.com. Sold out, so what? To order your Dodger tickets today, visit StubHub.com or call 1-866-StubHub. And the California Earthquake Authority, who would like to remind you that every day is earthquake season in California. Are you prepared?
Since Jeff Kent earlier in the program tonight with post-game comments was referring to the youngsters in general, and we don't know which one or ones that he was directly thinking of, I do want to give you the numbers of one pretty impressive Dodger outfielder by the name of Matt Kent. He wasn't in the lineup today. He did go 1 for 5 last night. He's hitting .338, which is tied for 4th in the National League and the 8th highest in baseball among players with at least 250 plate appearances. Kemp hitting .372 against left-handers, .342 with runners in scoring position, .386 in the month of September, and .335 since being recalled from AAA Las Vegas. And I knew all of that without going out to the stadium. Aren't you proud of me? All right, we've got a pitching matchup or 3 to give you for this weekend. Esteban Loaiza and Livan Hernandez tomorrow night, a 6:40 start on KFWB. Also 6:40, Saturday night, David Wells and Brandon Webb. And on Sunday afternoon at 1:40, Chad Billingsley and Edgar Gonzalez. Dodgers off Monday, back home Tuesday to take on the Rockies. And we get back to your calls on Dodger Talk. Next up is Jason from Downey. Hey, Jason, welcome to Dodger Talk.
How you doing, Bob?
I'm good, thank you. How are you tonight?
Not too good. Not the best days, I think, like a lot of Dodger fans out there, the way we're doing.
Yeah, not been a good week.
Right. And, well, a couple of points I wanted to make, Bob, and I called the other night, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you asked about what kind of a lineup I think, you asked one of the callers yesterday to talk about what kind of a lineup we would use for next year if we don't make any moves at all. And rather than just go down the lineup, it's pretty much what you're getting, the Pierre and Kemp, I guess, and Nomar at the corner, Loney at the other one for Call, Kent if he's back, or maybe they'll put Abreu out there at second, and of course you got Martin catching. But the point is they got to go after somebody, and they got to make some moves. And I think the first move you make, and I think everyone's talked about this, is with the management. You got to. I think Grady Little, they gave him a chance. That experiment didn't work out. They got to get somebody who wants to win, someone who is passionate. But you get a veteran like Dusty Baker that you want to put out there, maybe someone like Bobby Valentine, who has been rumored in the past, great friends with Tommy Lasorda, sees him like a son. That would be a great person to bring in. I think would be a great face for the franchise. Aside from that, some other points I wanted to make. It's been very frustrating because when I read that, I had no idea about what happened on last Sunday with the PR director or what have you from the Dodgers. And just until yesterday, someone mentioned it to me, and I read the Plaschke article. And it just really, really got under my skin. And the irony in that, from a PR perspective, and I've done radio in the past, up until recently also, and I'm a Dodger fan for, over about 20 years or so, is the irony about all of that is they have put now more bad publicity on the Dodgers. This guy called you thinking that, hey, he's going to muzzle and then it'll work out. But in the end, he got the LA Times to slap an article on him, bash the Los Angeles Dodgers, have fans calling in more frustrated, more outraged. That's a PR nightmare. So the first move that McCord has to do is fire that guy for being an idiot and not conducting himself like a true professional. Okay, because I'm sure he doesn't represent all the Dodger organization. I will say this in defense of Frank McCord. I like the ownership. I'm comfortable with the ownership. They care about the team. The owner is out there. And it's something that you rarely ever saw, and sometimes you still don't see in professional sports. But you have the guys like the Mark Cubans that are out there all the time. You have folks like Ted Turner, when he used to own the Braves, who was out there quite often. You got McCord out there, who you see as a figurehead, someone that's involved in the community, someone who was invested a lot of money and a lot of effort, a lot of his own time, his wife, his family. I respect that. And so I think we maybe have to cut him some slack. The real report card is going to be, how do you, just like any leader, how do you react to when you have a bad year? Just like in business, if your numbers are down, we'll see what they're going to do. This is a bad season. It was forecasted for a much better production. We could end up in fourth place, and I think we're going to judge this guy at the end of the day by how he basically puts these guys on check, the Ned Collettis and the management say, okay, we need to make some moves. And I would love to be a fly on the wall to see what the Tommy Lasordas of the world, or Tommy Lasorda himself, who acts as a consultant, he's got to be disgusted by what he sees. I mean, he just had his 80th birthday on Friday night. I was there at the game. Wonderful day it was to be out at the game. And I don't know if this guy's going to go much longer when he has to see this kind of a horrific play on the field. And I hate to see that, but they're going to give the guy an ulcer.
Well, Jason, I want to address a couple of comments, and I'll do it here after traffic, but that was a great call, and I do appreciate it. KFWB News Time is 8:52, and once again, the most patient man in Hollywood. His name is Richard Turnage. How's the drive?
Well, we have a couple of trouble spots here to lead off with, including the East LA interchange, the Santa Monica Freeway, the 10 eastbound, just before the East LA interchange where a crash occurred. Now, we had an accident earlier, 10 eastbound near the 110. Now this one just up ahead. So traffic all in all on the eastbound 10 very slow through downtown. At Palo Verde Avenue in Long Beach, a collision. Carpool lane blocked. Watch your step there. 110 northbound at Vernon Avenue, a collision. Middle traffic lane out of action. Should be clearing shortly. In the meantime, still getting indications of slow traffic back toward Florence. And in Orange County, 5 freeway southbound near Lake Forest Drive, a breakdown. For some reason, taking quite a while to clear that off the road. We have yet to get the all-clear signal, and we're still getting indications there that traffic is jammed from the El Toro Y. Next, KFWB, traffic on the ones at 9:01. I'm Richard Turnage, KFWB, News 980.
Back to school time, and in honor of all you moms and dads who make it happen, Downtown LA Motors is offering some low prices on all Mercedes models. Too low to mention on air. All 2007 cars must go. Downtown LA Motors is one of a select few Mercedes dealerships nationwide to sell over 57,000 brand new Mercedes since their opening, and is on a new journey to sell over 60,000 new Mercedes-Benz in 07. And right now, for a low price, you will be able to get your family into a new Mercedes-Benz from Downtown LA Motors. You think you can't afford it? Think again. You can't afford not to come to Downtown LA Motors with great prices and lease programs on all models. And check out the all-new C-Class 2008 model at Downtown LA Motors. No long negotiation process. Just give Downtown LA Motors 22 minutes and they promise to put you into a brand new Mercedes. Whatever you do, before you buy or lease a new Mercedes, give downtown LA Motors that last chance to save you more. Located right by Staples Center downtown and near every major freeway in Southern California. Call downtown LA Motors today at 888-I-LOVE-LA. That's 888-I-LOVE-LA.
Have you ever looked at the view from the top of a bridge? To position yourself squarely between here and there, point A and point B, the place realized, and the potential ahead. At East West Bank, that's where we live every day, helping our business clients across the divide from what is known to what is possible. Our experience in California's business communities and beyond to Greater China gives us a business perspective and flexibility not found elsewhere. At East West Bank, our goal is to act as your financial bridge to wherever you want to go, to take you from good to great. To get there, we will tailor a plan for your success. You'll receive the attention of senior management who will work to understand your business, going beyond the expected to deliver outstanding results. At East West Bank, we want you to look at the view from where you are and know you can achieve your goals with us. East West Bank, your financial bridge. Member FDIC.
Another how-to half minute from the Home Depot.
So when are we going to get a new oven?
This one's only 10 years old.
Yeah, well, that's like 90 in oven years.
Oven years? Is that like dog years or something?
They'll explain it to you at the Home Depot.
Come in and get special deferred financing with your Home Depot consumer credit card. Plus 10% off your first purchase with a new Home Depot credit card account. You can do it. We can help. Offer valid through September 23rd in U.S. only. Maximum discount $200. Subject to approved available credit. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
And now for the bonus round. If this little piggy went to market, how much milk did it buy?
4 gallons?
Correct. If a tree grows in Brooklyn...
A weed is cut in Staten Island.
Correct. How much gas do you use renting movies from Netflix?
None.
Correct! Netflix. Now there's 2 ways to get movies. DVDs in the mail fast and instantly on your PC in as little as 30 seconds. Netflix. It's that easy. 5 movies for $5 a month.
Restrictions apply. See terms of use for start time and 5 details.
KFWB Dodger Talk is sponsored by Concord Law. Change your career path by just 1 degree. And Bank of America, the official bank of Major League Baseball. And by the County of Los Angeles, who reminds you to recycle your car's used motor oil and filter. Zero waste. You make it happen.
Welcome back to Dodger Talk on KFWB News 980. We have now played 153 games this year, 9 games left to go. Dodgers at 79 and 74, and just about mathematically eliminated from both the NL West and the wild card. They put themselves in a heck of a hole, and just really, I don't think, enough time to dig out of it. It's time now for the Croton Trivia question. Which current Dodger holds the record for the... holds the major league record, I should say. Let me start this one over. Which current Dodger holds the major league record for most home runs by a rookie shortstop in a season? I'll be listening tomorrow morning during the 8 a.m. hour, and if you're the right caller with the right answer, you'll win a Croton watch. Croton crafting fine watches since 1878. Visit online at crotonwatch.com, and for retailers, call 1-800-443-7639. And it's time now for the Go Metro home run call of the night. When you want to beat the traffic, go Metro.
Andy LaRoche, the batter. There's a fly ball to left field. Back goes Holiday. He looks up, and it is gone. A home run for Andy LaRoche, who goes back-to-back with Andre Ethier. It is now a 7-4 Rocky lead. LaRoche's first Major League home run.
And we are back in a minute to wrap up Dodger Talk.
Reason number 9 to switch to Geico. There's nothing sweeter than saving money on car insurance. It's one of those rare opportunities in life where you can thumb your nose at the system and say, "Okay, system, listen up. I just got a better deal with Geico. Great savings, personal service 24/7, and the latest in online technology." Of course, the system may sulk for a day or two, but you're going to feel a lot better.
For a free rate quote, visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
If you could change the world, what would you do? How would you wonder about your ability to change the world? You certainly can change your world. The people of Citgo demonstrate this every day. For example, we've contributed over $82 million to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And we give in other ways to our local communities all across this country, which actually does change the world. Citgo, there at every turn.
Thanks again to all the callers, and we had some great ones tonight who always make Dodger Talk such a blast to do. And thanks to our KFWB support team, A. Martinez, Josh Cumming, and Brian Pickering. Studio producer Joe Franciosi, who did double duty today. He was there early for the game, staying late for Dodger Talk. Joe, way to go. Traffic tonight from Richard Turnage. The news from Phil Hewlett. The Guru, Say Chavez, is at the editor's desk. I'm Bob Harvey. We will see you tomorrow night after Game 1 of the Dodgers and D-back series on KFWB.
You've been listening to KFWB Dodger Talk with your host, Bob Harvey, on your home for news, traffic, Dodgers, KFWB.
Dodgers Radio, KFWB, WB, 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 WB. WB, 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 WB,